Hello, my dear YouTube family. How are you all doing? I hope you all had an amazing start for 2025. I was actually spending the New Year's Eve with my family. I was visiting my family back in India and had an amazing time with them. And I'm so happy to be back here. And I'm so excited to be discussing the topic that we're going to discuss today. As you may have understood from the title of this video, the topic that we're going to discuss today is about one of the most important relationships in our life, and that is the relationship that we share with ourselves. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's video. Let us begin this video by trying to understand why self-love is important. Because once we understand why it is important, it will be much more easier for us to prioritize ourselves in our life and find the time that is necessary for strengthening the relationship that we share with ourselves. One of the most important reasons why I believe self-love is very important is because self-love is that one element that helps us stay committed to our goals. Let me explain. So at the beginning of this year, we all would have identified certain goals that we want to work towards, right? But motivation can only take us so far. When we feel really motivated and inspired at the beginning of the year, we all might have put in the effort for the first 2, 3 or 4 days. But at the 5th day, we might feel demotivated and we would feel like we don't want to continue putting in the effort that is required to get us towards those results, right? Because we have been putting in the effort for 4 days and the results haven't started showing yet, and now we are feeling demotivated. But there, it is self-love that will help us stay committed to our goals. Most of the people who start working towards a new goal will give up after the 3rd or the 4th day, or will give up after some time. But it is those people who truly love themselves and who believe in themselves and who want to see themselves become a more improved version of themselves. Those are the people who will show up even after missing the 4th day. They'll show up on the 5th day, they might again drop out on the 6th day, but they'll keep coming back. They may change their strategy, they may change the way they're doing things, they may change a lot of things, but they will not give up on themselves, because that is how much they love themselves and their dreams and their goals, and that's how much they want to achieve their dreams and their goals in their life. So self-love helps us stay committed to our goals. The second reason why I believe self-love is very important is because it will help us gain more trust in ourselves and build more confidence within ourselves. When we commit to doing something and we are able to follow through and put in the actions necessary towards those goals, it will help us gain more trust within ourselves. And even though we may not have already achieved those results that we have been aiming for, even then, just because of the fact that we are continuing to believe in ourselves and continue to work towards the goals, helps us gain more confidence within ourselves and our goals. The third reason why I believe self-love is very important is because it helps us develop a really healthy relationship with other people. When we don't have a really strong or healthy relationship with ourselves, we find it very difficult to form really healthy relationship with other people as well. But once we work on developing or improving the relationship that we share with ourselves, it becomes easier for us to form healthy relationship with those people around us as well. And also remember that self-love is not selfish at all. In fact, it is one of the most loving things that we can do for our loved ones as well. Because when we truly don't love ourselves, we also tend to engage in certain unhealthy relationship dynamics like people pleasing or abandoning ourselves when we are in a relationship or manipulating other people so that we can get them to do what we want to do and so on. And sometimes it might not even be our fault, right? Because we might not be aware that we are actually engaging in these unhealthy relationship dynamics. But even if it's not our fault, it is our responsibility to make the necessary changes. And one of the most important things that we can do to stop engaging in such unhealthy relationship dynamics is to take out the time to develop a much more healthier relationship with ourselves, because the world outside is just a mirror of our internal world, right? Once we start building a much more loving relationship with ourselves, it becomes much more easier for us to build a much more healthy relationship with our loved ones as well. So self-love is actually one of the most loving things that you can do for your loved ones as well. Now that we looked at why self-love is important, let us now look at a few strategies that will help us become more self-loving or more loving towards ourselves. I know that today's video might be slightly longer than the videos that we usually share on our channel, but this is a topic that I don't want us to rush through. So you might want to probably grab a glass of water and get really comfortable, and let's continue with the video. Whenever we want to make any changes in our life, right, one of the ways that we might want to go about it is to begin with making the necessary changes at the level of our identity. Once we have made the necessary changes at the level of our identity, then we'll move to the level of our beliefs and our thoughts, and then we'll make the necessary changes at the level of our actions, because that's the most effective way we can bring about changes in our life. Because if we make some necessary changes in the level of actions alone without making any changes at the level of our thoughts and beliefs, it'll be very difficult for us to do that consistently or continue with the necessary steps that we take at the level of actions. And if you only make the changes at the level of our thoughts and our beliefs and don't make any changes at the level of our identity, it'll be very difficult for us to sustain those changes. So always make sure that we're starting at the level of our identity, then we make the necessary changes at the level of our beliefs and our thoughts, and then at the level of our actions. So first, we look at how we can make the necessary changes at the level of our identity. You have to now assume that you are someone who truly loves themselves. So you would basically ask yourself, what are some of the things that someone who truly loves themselves would do throughout the day? What are the choices that they make? What are the things that they would prioritize in your life? If you can, try to visualize a version of yourself who truly loves themselves and try to channel the energy from that particular version of yourself. And then continue to live your life as that person, as that version of yourself who truly loves themselves. The second thing that you need to do is to reprogram your belief systems. So I have made an entire video about how you can reprogram your belief systems, and I'll link that video here, and I highly recommend you to pause this video or watch that particular video right after this video so that you can understand how you can reprogram your belief systems. But if you have a core belief that you are someone who is not worthy of love or someone who is not worthy of appreciation or being loved, then you should use that particular process to change your belief systems and form a belief system that you are someone who is deeply loved and who is worthy of being loved. And one affirmation that I found to be really effective in helping myself be more loving towards myself, and this has now become kind of like my mantra, which I constantly repeat to myself, and that is, I see my light, beauty, and value in every moment of every day. You can also affirm this in the chat below. I see my light, beauty, and value in every moment of every day. The third thing that we need to do is to change at the level of our thoughts. So there are two major things that we need to do over here. The first thing is to instill new thoughts every morning, every day, so that you are able to inculcate new thoughts into your mind where you're saying things like you truly love yourself, you appreciate yourself, and you believe how worthy of love you are, and so on. And the second thing that you need to do is to be mindful about your thoughts throughout the day. So just observe what are the things that you tell yourself and try to change that narrative that goes on in your head. And one thing that I found to be really easy and helpful in this particular step is to use affirmations. So at the beginning of the day, try to listen to the self-love affirmations, any affirmations that you can find on YouTube. You can also refer to the video that I have made on this topic, self-love affirmations, and you can just listen to those affirmations every day at the beginning of the day, and that will help you inculcate more love towards yourself and a more loving mindset towards yourself. So I would also like to mention one more thing over here. One of the things that many of us struggle with the most when it comes to self-love is loving our own physical appearance. So if you're also someone who is struggling to see the beauty in your own physical appearance, I would highly recommend you to watch the video that I have already made in that particular topic, and I hope that that helps you build a much more loving mindset towards your own physical appearance. Now that we have looked at what are the changes that we need to make at the level of our identity, beliefs, and thoughts, now let's look at a few changes that we need to make at the level of our actions. What are the few things that we can incorporate into our daily life that will help us build a much more self-loving mindset? So the first thing that I would highly recommend you to do is to add a new practice into your daily routine at the beginning of your day that will help you remember that you are now someone who is very loving towards themselves. So one of the things that you can do is to write yourself a love letter. So you may just want to pick a piece of paper and a pen and just start writing yourself a love letter. You can just tell yourself how much you appreciate and love yourself and how deeply loved you are, and whatever you want to tell yourself with a lot of love, you can just channel in a lot of love and then just write yourself that love letter, and that will help you put in a much more loving mindset right at the beginning of the day itself. Another thing that you can do is to form the high-fi habit. So basically what you do over here is that every morning when you wake up and before you brush your teeth and you're standing in front of the mirror, you would look at your own reflection in the mirror, and then you would look into your own eyes and give yourself a high five. You can also consider taking this a level further and looking into the reflection in the mirror and saying that you love yourself. So the high five habit is the second technique that I found to be really helpful to be incorporating into my morning routine. The third thing that I found to be really effective is the heart hold technique. So what you would basically do over here is that you would place both of your hands on your heart and try to feel your heart and feel your breath, and just be mindfully present with your breath for a few minutes. You can also take this a step further and then just give yourself a tight hug. If you're someone who loves hugs, and this could be probably one of the ways that you can just tell yourself that you deeply love yourself, and then just give yourself a pat or just hug yourself tightly and then just reassure yourself that you're deeply loved. So these are 3 techniques that I found to be really helpful to be incorporating into my daily morning routine. And as I learn more techniques and I find them to be effective in my own life, I'll be sure to share them on our channel. So do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. So the first thing that you need to do is to incorporate some self-love practices into your daily morning routine. The second thing that I highly recommend you to do is to start speaking to yourself more compassionately when you feel low. Because the thing about life is that some days in life are very easy and some days are probably not so much. But every day we have a choice. We have the choice to continue to do the necessary work to build a stronger relationship with ourselves and God. And on those not so easy days when we are feeling a bit low, it's very important for us to be kind to ourselves and practice being compassionate towards ourselves. Because loving ourselves at our best is easy, but loving ourselves when we are having a difficult time, that is where we should be making sure that we are staying committed to our path. And that is when we should make sure that we are being there for ourselves, being present with ourselves, and taking out the time to do the necessary healing work. We have already discussed a few healing techniques on our channel, and I highly recommend you to watch those videos if you haven't already. And if you have already watched those videos, this is the time when you need to actually implement those techniques that we have learned and take out the time and the space that you need to do the necessary healing work and help yourself move through those difficult days. The third thing that I would highly recommend you to do is to take out some time each week to express yourself creatively. Please note that the key word here is to express yourself creatively. It's not about consuming someone else's creative work, but expressing your creativity just for fun. Expressing ourselves creatively doesn't have to be that complicated or time consuming. It's all about letting your creative juices flow. So it could be the choices that we make with our dressing, our hairstyles, our makeup, nail art, or the meals that we cook, or the way in which we organize our home, and whatever we can do to let ourselves explore or express ourselves a little more creatively. That is what we are focusing on in this particular step. And one of the reasons why this step is very important in helping ourselves be more loving towards ourselves is that many of the times when we don't really believe in ourselves or we doubt ourselves, we tend to also limit ourselves in how we want to express ourselves to this world. So when we actually offer ourselves the space to express ourselves creatively, we are actually sending our subconscious a message that we are important, we count, and we actually believe in the way that we add value to this world. We believe in our contributions and we believe in our creativity, and that helps us build a much more loving mindset towards ourselves. The fourth thing that I would highly recommend you to do is to take yourself out shopping and buy yourself something that you truly love just for fun, just because you love it. And this doesn't mean that you should be spending money that you don't have, but suppose if you are making $100 this month, then take out $1 for yourself this month and make sure that you're spending it on something that you truly love. And this is important because this actually helps us send a message to our subconscious mind that we are worthy of all the gifts and all the things that we desire, and we truly believe in our worth for those things, and that's why we are buying those things for ourselves. And please make sure that we are not spending the money that we don't have, but consider spending probably 1% of what you make in a month towards yourself and towards something that will bring you a lot of joy. The fifth thing that I found to be really effective is to be investing your time, money, and your energy, your attention towards building yourself and building your own skill sets. It could be on whatever that you have listed to be as a priority for yourself this year. It could be on learning how to invest. It could be on learning to cultivate a growth mindset. It could be on learning how you can heal yourself. It could also be on your own communication skills or something that will help you advance in your career further. The next thing that I found to be really effective in strengthening the relationship that I share with myself is all about being present with myself even while I am in the company of others. More often than not, when we are in the company of others, we tend to abandon ourselves and forget ourselves and start entirely engaging with the people that we are around. But it's very important for us to take a few moments to be present with ourselves, our mind, and our inner world as well, even while we are in the company of others. This is important because sometimes when we are in the company of others, we tend to feel very conscious and we tend to act and behave in ways that we think will make us more likable or that will help us blend more into the people that we are around. But if we can remind ourselves to check in with ourselves and be present with ourselves, even while we are in the company of others, it'll help us build a much more strong and loving relationship with ourselves and build much more trust within ourselves. It'll also naturally help us stop engaging in certain people-pleasing behavior that we're used to engaging in and stop acting or pretending to be a version of ourselves just to be liked and instead express ourselves more authentically and be ourselves. And that will help us strengthen a much more loving mindset with ourselves and be more confident in our own natural being. And the last suggestion that I have for you, and this is a really important one, and this might seem like something that we all tend to do, but we all usually forget to do, is to relax and allow ourselves to be loved. Because sometimes in life, we can get carried away by life and have a barrier so high that we are unable to see how loved we truly are. But if we can loosen up ourselves and allow ourselves to appreciate all the beautiful ways in which this universe and our loved ones expresses their love towards us and allow ourselves to receive that love, that also becomes a very beautiful and powerful self-love practice. This could be as simple as observing how the sun, the moon and the stars are lighting up our days, how the gentle breeze plays with our hair and gently brushes up against our skin, and the beautiful nature surrounding us, and our loved ones, no matter imperfect, trying to show their love for us, and our heart beating even without us doing anything, and the miracle of our breath, and so many million ways in which life shows us how loved we are. And if we can let ourselves relax and observe, we will see how deeply loved we are, and that will help us be more loving towards ourselves. So I hope today's video helps you build a much more deeper relationship with yourself and be more loving towards yourself in your thoughts, beliefs and actions. And always remember that you're deeply loved by this universe. Your breath is the strongest evidence for how deeply loved you are. If you liked today's video, do hit the like button and do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And also share this video with your friend who might also find this video helpful in their own self-love journey. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Sending a lot of love, strength and peace towards each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Until next time, take care and bye.